Absolutely not. And Andrea joins me now. Thank you for being here this morning. I know it's not easy. And you've been absolutely remarkable with this campaign, which I really want to talk to you about, obviously. But I can't get my head around the fact that she went to the doctor so often. I know it was during the COVID times and a lot of it was online, but she went so often and was essentially fobbed off.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Jess was just a really proactive, conscientious person. And she knew that there was something seriously not right. She knew there was something wrong with her body.
Yeah.
But it was quite hard for her, increasingly as the months went on, to advocate for herself because she was feeling so awful. And the message she was receiving was that this isn't, you don't need to worry, you're young, you're healthy. Sure. We have an explanation, which at the time was long COVID. So, yes, it was difficult.
It's really, really hard because you know what it's like if you go to the doctors, you're worried because, you know, we do, all of us have had those situations, and then you're reassured. So, of course, you're going to think everything's OK, even although she was so ill, so sick. But she's told it's OK. And you as parents were told it's OK.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, as parents, we feel huge guilt that we were reassuring Jess, saying, it's OK, Jess, everybody says it's all right, you're going to be OK. And I think essentially Jess wanted to believe that there was a good explanation for why she wasn't feeling well. But increasingly, you know, she'd lost so much weight and she was petite beforehand. And just increasingly, her pallor, she was so pale, so tired, exhausted. She was just worn out with it. And we just knew that by the sort of beginning of November of 2020 that we had to be even more proactive.
You did, and that's why you went private and got the diagnosis, and the diagnosis was shattering, wasn't it? Stage 4 cancer.
Absolutely.
Everywhere.
Yes.
Everywhere. So she didn't come out of hospital?
No, from the moment she was diagnosed in outpatients, I think when we were talking about her symptoms, about ragged breathing and everything else, they said, we're going to need to take Jess in. And as she was taken into A&E and as the evening unfolded, more X-rays were taken and it was clear that her lungs were in a real mess and she was quickly put on oxygen. So she was taken up and actually put on a COVID ward where she stayed for 3.5 weeks, but she wasn't able ever to leave her bed because she was attached to oxygen.
Oh, Andrea, so difficult. I wish I'd met your daughter. She's astonishing. She launched satellites. That was her job, wasn't it? She helped to launch satellites into space, and she could drive the Mars rover. The actual, I mean, this is astonishing. It's on Mars, and she could remotely drive it. What a woman! What an astonishing... I mean, there can't be many people that do that.
I know. I think there were 6 people that were nominated to be able to do it, and Jess was one of them, which was funny because actually here on Earth, Jess wasn't the best driver. She had lots of other attributes.
But on Mars, she was fantastic. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? God, you must miss her so much. And of course, you don't want anybody else to be sitting here talking about their daughter like this or their son, who's like 27 is no age, and she had so much to give and so much to do. So this campaign, which I know has received a lot of backing, what do you want? How can we help?
Yeah, so Jess's Law essentially is the premise that when a patient visits their GP practice on the 3rd occasion with the same symptom or escalating symptoms, then their case needs to be elevated for review. And the sort of tagline for it is 3 strikes and we rethink.
Oh, that's good.
So clearly, if somebody is coming back to their GP practice and their symptoms are not improving or they're getting worse, that we'd like GPs to just say, OK, hang on a minute, let's take a backward step here. Let's look again. What was our initial diagnosis? Was it substantiated? Because clearly we have a problem here and we need to perhaps ask one of our primary care colleagues or refer to secondary care, or we might need continuity of care because a big thing we think with Jess was that she was seen by consulted with 4 different GPs at her practice.
Ah, right, OK.
But none of those GPs were nominated named GP.
Right. So they're not going to realise, like, if they see her in front... It's that thing, isn't it? I think you need to be in front of your GP.
Absolutely.
He has to be able to look at you in the eye. He has to be able to, or he or she, to see how you're doing, you know, and then it's that intuitive thing that you know something's wrong.
We always said that had somebody seen Jess at the beginning and then and saw her when she consulted with them on each occasion,
yes.
there would be no question that they would have seen a deterioration.
Yeah.
Because we did, as family, we saw her genes hanging on her, we saw her rosy cheeks sort of diminishing, and just how exhausted she was. So I think that is absolutely key.
Yeah.
And also with remote consultations, the 3 strikes and we rethink would be if somebody has been seen remotely twice, when they contact again on the 3rd occasion, no, we need to bring this person in. We need to physically examine them.
Couldn't agree more, and I'm not the only one. I know that West Streeting, the Health Secretary, is very much behind this.
Yes.
You've had a massive response to your petition, haven't you?
Huge.
And people can still sign.
Absolutely.
People can still sign up.
Yeah, still live.
Good, because that's important. That's really important. Hilary's here, Dr Hilary's here. And Hilary, I know you fully support this campaign because it's going to save lives, isn't it?
Absolutely. I am so sorry, Andrea, that you and Jess have been so badly let down by the NHS General Practice Service. You've highlighted the importance of continuity of care. If you're continually seeing different doctors, there's no evidence of the evolution of the disease as it goes forward. So each doctor is seeing it from scratch and they're not necessarily communicating with previous consultations with other doctors. So having your own doctor is much better. We know that, but it's not happening at the moment. We want continuity of care so we can see the evolution of what's going on. If we see things getting worse or not responding to treatment, we can act there and then very swiftly. So that definitely needs to change. So this is a very good campaign. There are things that we can do, and you know, one has to be assertive, and you have been, and it still didn't work. So this is an urgent campaign that needs to happen.
It really is. It's fantastic. Thank you, Hilary. Thanks ever so much, Andrea, for coming in. I really appreciate it, and I wish you every success, obviously, and anything that we can do to help. But obviously, people can sign the petition. That's really important. And you can also watch tonight. Cancer Under 50, Searching for Answers is the title. It's on tonight, 8 o'clock on ITV1.